guys, yes, I am in my closet. Today is actually a little unique. What I'm going to be doing for this video is a question and answer with a twist. The twist is that I'm actually collaborating with another YouTuber who has had the VSG gastric sleeve weight loss surgery and is also vegan. Me, I had gastric bypass and I'm vegan. So our questions that we were asked are about the same, but the answers are going to be slightly different because she's still new in her journey and I'm almost to my year post-op. That being said, I'm going to be reading off this handy dandy piece of paper because there are 25 questions. Holy moly. And we collected these questions from Instagram to Facebook and everywhere in between from lots of people who have questions about surgery and haven't had it yet, or people who have already had surgery and they're struggling. So let's get into these questions, shall we? Number one question is, how do you get enough protein as a vegan weight loss surgery patient? Now, I'm going to be making cringe-worthy faces throughout this entire video because there are a lot of questions on here that I didn't really go along with as far as like the rules. I was definitely a rebel in my journey, but we'll get into that. My answer is, I actually stopped tracking my nutrition at, after my 6-month post-op doctor visit with my surgeon because he did a blood panel workup and all of my protein levels and my nutrition, my B12, everything that the doctor and the nutritionist were concerned that my levels would be low were actually within average range. So I was like, why am I tracking? I don't need to track anymore. Probably should be tracking because people ask me questions all the time. So anyway, at the time I was getting an average of 30 to 40 grams of protein. Yeah, that sounds like a very low amount, but keep in mind gastric bypass doesn't give you a lot of space to work with. And I was crazy busy. A little bit of personal information. We tried to move across country from Virginia to Arizona and it didn't work out. So we ended up moving back here to Virginia. And, well, needless to say that basically I was eating all over the place. Like I had healthy food, I had junk food, I had, smoothies, I had water, I had broth. I'll get into my post-op diet in a second, but, at the time that I got my blood tested and the time that I was meeting up with my surgeon post-op for my 6-month post-op mark, it was about 30 to 40 grams of protein per day. Do you still take multivitamins? If so, what brands do you recommend? Guys, I don't take multivitamins. I need to. When I was using vitamins, I actually used Patch MD. I used the multivitamin with iron and the vitamin C patch, I believe. Most of the time I would put them on at night when I was sleeping because you can leave them on for 8 hours and it absorbs into your system. So at nighttime when I would sleep, I would put them on and then give myself a couple hour break in between and then put them back on just to make sure that I had that. And while I was doing that, everything seemed to be on the up and up as long as I stayed hydrated and made sure I had my vitamin patches. But due to budget cuts, Amy got broke. I stopped using those. It wasn't until recently, within the last, literally the last 2 months, where I've been able to swallow pills, because before I couldn't post-op. It was so hard. It would make me nauseous and I ended up vomiting everything up. How do you make healthy meals for yourself and keep up with a meat-eating family? When I was first post-op, I was dating a meat eater. So he prepared food for the kids, and of course they were able to eat whatever they wanted at that time. And, at that time, I was on my liquid diet, so I only had my protein shakes and my water. Once I left and we moved out, the kids have really been basically strictly plant-based or vegan at home. What were the first 6 months like for your post-op diet? Well, I'm a simple girl and I'm very easily amused. So I literally had tomato soup, mashed potatoes, smashed beans, and veggie broth. No, I wasn't having my protein shakes because they were the powder, and at the time I wasn't versed on pre-made shakes. I just knew about powder, and the powder made the shakes so thick that I would have like maybe 3 gulps and I would feel nauseous and I was sick to my stomach and I didn't want to drink them. And so that's why I said I was definitely a rebel for my post-op journey. How difficult was it as a vegan for you to get support from your surgeon and the team who took care of you? Well, they were a little skeptical because I said I was vegan, but they put it on my chart. They made sure that everybody knew this chick's a vegan and she doesn't want to have anything to do with any animal products. So I was able to bring in my own veggie broth for the hospital to give me. I was able to bring in my own protein powder that the hospital gave to me while I was in the hospital. And more often than not, they'll work with you. I've actually heard that several hospitals have their own in stock anyway. So definitely ask those questions. My surgical team didn't really fuss with me too much, except for the fact that they just gave me that raised eyebrow whenever it came to talking about my diet. They would talk to the entirety of the nutrition class, blah, 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 and then they look at me and then say, and of course, plant-based options, da-da-da-da-da. So, you know, they tolerated me, basically, is what happened. Can you recommend a brand of plant-based pre-made protein drinks? I do know that Walmart carries Vega pre-made shakes. I could only stand the taste of the chocolate, but that's my vote. But yeah, Vega definitely is great. As of late, I've been drinking the Advant Edge drinks. They're low carb and they're high in protein, so that's very beneficial to those who want to have a pre-made shake, still get their protein, but not have a lot of carbohydrates. I don't really drink the protein shakes too much anymore, only because of cost. But I've been eating a lot of stuff that has high protein at home. What healthy carbs do you consume? Beans and potatoes. That's basically it. I have lots of potatoes. I have lots of beans. Every kind of bean. Garbanzo beans, also known as chickpeas, black beans, pinto beans, navy beans, cannellini beans, kidney beans, every kind of bean that you can think of, I eat it. Whether it's smashed, whether I throw it in a soup with some quinoa, I love it. Those are my source of protein and they are healthy carbs. If someone cannot tolerate raw veggies, would blending them into a smoothie help? I steam my veggies and stick them into soups, but the raw greens like the kale and the spinach and cucumber, you can actually put them into smoothies and it's really good for you. And as far as tolerating raw veggies, that's me as well. I can have maybe like a couple small things, but they're so dense that they fill me up and I literally can't eat for the rest of the day. So I have to be careful with that kind of stuff because I have to get my other calories in and my other, nutrients that I need so that I can stay healthy. What are some of the best things to puree? Thanks to the boyfriend, a suggestion of butternut squash. He actually said that he recommends turning it into like a cheese sauce. So I'm going to be trying that soon. Haha. Bean soup. Yeah, I will put a bunch of beans and some water and some seasoning and other vegetables into the Instant Pot, and then I will actually cook it down, and once it's done, I stick my immersion blender in there and blend the crap out of it, and that's my favorite thing because it's got lots of protein, lots of good healthy carbs, and it tastes delicious. The only other thing that I would say would be good to puree would be broccoli. Broccoli soup. I'm getting hungry talking about this, guys. Do you still experience stalls on a vegan diet? Every weight loss surgery, you're going to have stalls because your body is in shock. Your body has had trauma, major surgery. You can't be impatient with yourself. People are going to go through where you lose anywhere from 1 to 4 pounds in a week to 10 pounds, 20 pounds in a week. Every body is different. Every physical body is different. My stalls were all in the beginning for the first about 1 to 4 months post-op, and then all of a sudden everything just started like dropping off of me, especially closer to the 6 month, 7 month, 8 month mark. It was just melting off of me. What do you eat for protein? That's every vegan's favorite question. I eat beans and I eat tofu, and lately I've had a lot of the Gardein products and Tofurky products. Not sponsored, although I wish they would send me stuff so I can review them because I sing their praises every day. How long was the surgery itself, and how would you rate the level of pain? Okay, so mine was less than 2 hours. My mom said that it didn't take very long for them. She was running errands and getting the kids settled at school and herself settled at her little hotel thing. And it took probably about the time for her to do all of that. So about maybe at the most like 2 hours and 15 minutes, but it was not that long, as she said. The pain level didn't hit me until I was home, but it could have been that the pain medication from the hospital and the anesthesia was wearing off. So, what are some ways to prevent or stop hair loss on a vegan diet? Well, guys, remember how my hair used to look? And now it's like super thin. Vitamins, hydration, keep your nutrient levels where they're supposed to be. I am the poster child for not doing any of that stuff, and now I have crappy hair. So, and no, it's not because I bleach my hair, because I haven't. Like all the regrowth that you see here where it's like little baby hairs and stuff, that's where my hair is the thickest, if you can tell, see? And that is what I've been bleaching. So no, this is not because of the bleach. It's not. It's just thinned out. And it sucks. But it's coming back very, very slowly. And it's sad. What are your easy go-to snacks and meals? Okay, so ready? Sandwiches. I use Dave's Killer Bread. It was recommended to use Ezekiel bread to me, but it's too heavy on my pouch, so I can't tolerate more than one slice of that bread. And it kind of tastes like dirt to me, so I don't eat it. I'm picky. No, I'm not really that picky. Ezekiel bread is definitely healthy. It tastes like health food. I just prefer Dave's Killer Bread. They have thin slices where it's a smaller loaf and it's only 60 to 80 calories per slice, which is fantastic because, you know, I'm trying to stay low calorie. I'm not really trying to lose weight anymore, but I'm trying to be at least healthy. But Dave's Killer Bread is definitely the best bet for having a healthier alternative to bread. So sandwiches with Dave's Killer Bread, carrots and hummus, and trail mix with all the healthy fats that they give you, and there's some protein as well. But yeah, those are my favorite snacks that you can try, and they're perfect for on the go. I shove them in my purse in little Ziploc baggies or Tupperware, and yeah. What did you eat in the different post-op phases? Okay, so earlier I said that I had lots of tomato soup. I would use tomato soup, but honestly, what I got made fun of from family and friends was that I was actually getting the cheap Hunt's pasta sauce and eating that as if it were tomato soup. I would put that in probably about a half cup or a whole cup coffee mug, nuke it, and then just sip it, and that's what I would eat. And that was often, actually. It wasn't just in the different post-op levels, like, you know, clear, and then liquid, and then soft foods, and then solid foods. I did try to eat potatoes a lot in the first stages, and eating them whole, like, it was funny because my first meal, when I was cleared for solid foods, the first meal I ate were those little tiny little potatoes that are like this big. And I ate like probably 6 or 7 of them, and I was like in heaven. But after that, I probably wouldn't have been able to eat more than 2. Nowadays, I could probably have about half a cup of mashed potatoes if I tried. And it really goes day to day, because I could have a wrap with kale and Gardein chicken strips and some ranch in there, vegan ranch, and eat one whole one that's about this big and eat it in about 30 to 40 minutes and be satiated until the next time it was time to eat. And then the next day or the next 2 days, if I try to eat it again, my body can literally just be like, nope, no thanks, we're going to puke this up now. So it really goes day to day, and like I said before, every body is different. What is the best way to transition into a plant-based diet? I seriously recommend watching a couple of documentaries. Try What the Health. If you've already seen it, try Forks Over Knives, try Fat, Sick, Nearly Dead, and try some vegan alternatives. Some of them are pretty pricey, but you can go to any Whole Foods, any Trader Joe's. You can go to, I'm on the East Coast right now, so I would say Farm Fresh. Some Food Lions carry it. Wegmans, Aldi, Lidl. I don't know. I haven't been to Lidl, or whatever it's called. East Coast. Basically, Walmart and Target have these things too, and you just go look for. Even Target will have a plant-based section, but you want to go to the vegetable aisles and the frozen, and any Amy's You could try being vegetarian first. All of Amy's stuff is vegetarian and or vegan. Morningstar is all vegetarian. They have a couple things that are marked vegan. Just go in the frozen aisle because that's where it's all going to be, the alternatives. The lunch meats and the vegan cheeses and stuff, they will be in the produce department where the tofu is. You look for Tofurkey or Light Life. There are a couple different brands that are carried throughout the United States. I don't know about overseas. I'm sure that somebody could comment below and let me know what particular items you could find overseas that are easy to attain and to transition well. That's how I did it. I had a lot of potatoes, a lot of vegetables, a lot of rice when I first went vegan. And then when I started to research and figure out what was vegan, what was plant-based, etc., then I kind of got my bearings a little bit. Definitely join a Facebook group because there are tons of Facebook groups for you, whether it's people in your area, there are vegan moms, vegan parents, there are tattooed vegans, and I'm talking about Facebook groups. There are, vegan students, vegan college students, vegan high school students. Like, it doesn't matter. You can type it in the search bar on Facebook and boom, you're going to find something. Follow some people on Instagram. Follow some YouTubers. I recommend High Carb Hannah. I recommend Supreme Banana. I recommend Cheap Lazy Vegan. I recommend Live Bee or Live's Healthy Life. Check out those YouTube channels. They're amazing. Those people really got me through my vegan transition. Now, I'm going to skip down to question 22 from question 17 because this one actually is related. It says, when you transitioned into a plant-based diet, did you quit other foods right away or did you ease into it? Oh, you guys, I'm going to make you feel really bad because I did it cold turkey. I watched a documentary. I said this in my very, very first video. I watched a documentary called Unsupersize Me. And from there, I just kept watching the documentaries. And then at night, I was in bed with my phone like this, scrolling through Pinterest, pinning stuff. And I actually have a board created called Going Vegan. And I've got probably upwards of 500, 600 pins on there now of memes and recipes and veganized ideas, things that you wouldn't think that you could eat that would be veganized. Like, you can have cheesecake, you can have pizza, you can have burgers, you can have your pastas, you can have, steaks, all kinds of stuff, and there are definitely vegan alternatives for everything. You just gotta look it up, do your research. Okay, anyways, back up to question 18. What is your easiest plant-based meal recipe? Potatoes! My freaking dog's name's Potato, guys. Like, I love potatoes. I'm a potato advocate. Sweet potatoes, russet potatoes, Yukon Gold potatoes, fingerling potatoes, all those other fancy different colored potatoes, like the purple ones, and the Japanese potatoes, like all of those. There are all different kinds of potatoes, and they're all good for you. They're all, in their own way, they're all different levels of healthy carbohydrates that will sustain you and give you the energy that you need to get through the day. I love potatoes. See, I'm getting hungry talking about this stuff. What are your opinions on soy? In moderation, soy is an excellent source of protein. Let's just go with that. Any suggestions on clear liquid diet options for protein? Okay, so when you're on your clear liquid diet phase, you want to focus on your water. You want to focus on getting hydrated because that is the most important thing for you after you have your surgery. You want to make sure you're getting tons and tons of liquid. You want to be peeing every 5 seconds. I mean, really? Because your body is trying to heal itself and it's trying to figure out what just happened. So making sure you get your hydration first and foremost is always what you want to do. For me, I would recommend those little, Weilers or Crystal Light things that you mix with your thing if you don't like water. Even the dollar stores got like A&W root beer flavored and crushed orange soda and crushed strawberry soda flavors. They've got Arizona green tea flavored. They've got all kinds of different flavors of drink mixes that you can add with the water, or the little Mios, little water flavorings. You could try that too. You could try infusing your water if you can't stand the taste of water. Definitely infuse it with cucumber or watermelon and mint or lime, like whatever is your fancy, try it. Just stay hydrated. People don't really think that this is an option, but nutritionists really recommend using sugar-free Jello or sugar-free popsicles as a source of hydration. That's kind of weird, yeah, but at least that's what my nutritionist suggested to me. I also highly recommend finding some vegan bouillon or making your own veggie broth. I really recommend veggie broth because it soothes your throat, your esophagus. It's really soothing, honestly. Is a low-carb vegan diet feasible? Should I avoid grains? I am a carb advocate. Stay carbed. Please, please. There's a difference between white bread and tortillas and pasta versus sweet potatoes, brown rice. Those are healthy, sustaining carbohydrates versus, processed, refined stuff. Just whole grains, whole grains. When they make the white bread or the white pasta or whatever, they're basically taking apart the grain, which converts into sugar instantaneously in your system. But yeah, you really want to stay with the healthy carbohydrates. I think you can still be low carb with the healthy carbohydrates, but don't kill yourself to try to be low carb just because you want to lose the weight. The weight's going to come off. Especially if you're plant-based, the weight is going to come off. With the capacity of only a few ounces, how should I eat? My answer to that would be listen to your body. Period. Nutritionists say protein first and then whatever you can fit in afterwards. I would just use blended soups. Like I said, I would put a bunch of stuff in the Instant Pot, veggie broth, quinoa because my stomach couldn't tolerate rice. Still kind of can't. Different kinds of beans, broccoli, other types of vegetables that have protein and fiber in them. And I would cook them down in the Instant Pot, which is a pressure cooker, so you don't necessarily have to use an Instant Pot. You can use a pressure cooker if you have one, or a crock pot if you have one. Just cook the stuff down until it's basically soft enough to eat, and you can blend it in a blender. You can use a food processor if you have one. You can use an immersion blender, and don't say you don't have an immersion blender and you can't get one, because I got mine for $10 at Walmart, so no excuses. It's really, honestly, the best way for the first couple of months out of surgery to eat food if you really want to have the whole foods, the plant-based healthy stuff. Throw kale in your smoothie, throw kale in your soups. That's really high in vitamin K and it's good for your healing process. Are you able to consume more plant-based foods per meal? Honey, that's all I eat. I mean, granted, I have, the junk food lately, but that's because I'm literally 10 pounds from my goal weight and I'm terrified to lose any more weight. But that's all I eat is plant-based. I've been vegan for almost 2 years. Last question. You ready? Does a plant-based diet after weight loss surgery help reduce the chances of complications most bariatric patients face after surgery, such as hair loss, gallbladder removal, teeth issues, hair loss? Is on there again. That must be a really, really, really big concern for a lot of women. And I can totally feel you, because I mean, if you had thin hair to begin with, you're probably going to want to look into options for yourself. But my hair was really, really naturally really thick. You can see in my previous videos, I had really thick, long, luscious, beautiful hair. I did not have my gallbladder removed. I did, however, have a hernia repaired, which caused me to have a lot less capacity because of the swelling. That's why I ate so weirdly after surgery. Teeth issues, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Everything's basically been the same as before I had surgery. Hair loss, I'm working on it. I didn't take my vitamins when I should have. I'm almost positive that it's the dehydration and the vitamins and not getting enough protein. Every body is different. You're going to have problems. You're going to have struggles. You're going to fight yourself because of body dysmorphia. You're going to fight yourself because relationships are going to change with people. You're going to fight yourself because you're not going to understand that the person you're seeing in the mirror is not who you've always been. Granted, I mean, you're still the same up here, but it doesn't reflect down here. I still feel like the 265-pound girl that I was before, but I'm half that now. I'm literally half that now. And I still have problems. I still think of myself as that. I still feel invisible to people when I'm not. I still worry about eating when I can't eat. I have head hunger like you wouldn't believe. It doesn't matter what you're eating as a weight loss surgery patient. You're going to have some kind of complication, whether your relationships change dramatically for the good or for the bad. You could lose your hair because of a completely other hormonal imbalance. You could lose a tooth for something completely different, like maybe you're not brushing your teeth. And I'm not trying to tell anybody how to hygiene, but you know, as long as you're taking care of your mouth and seeing your dentist regularly, you shouldn't have to worry about teeth issues. Hair loss is definitely something you want to make sure you're just staying on top of, keeping a good level of protein. Don't obsess over it, but listen to your body and keep a good level of protein. And as far as getting your gallbladder removed, if you do that, consult with a nutritionist, consult with a dietitian, and if they are not supportive of your vegetarian or vegan lifestyle, find a nutritionist that is. There are plenty of people who are in these groups that I'm telling you about who are nutritionists now that have either been on the journey like you have or who have experience working with vegans and vegetarians. Reach out to somebody. There's got to be somebody somewhere. There are resources under every rock and around every corner. You're going to find somebody who will be able to give you some kind of answers. And like I say in every single video, reach out to me if you guys have questions. And if you think I'm wrong, please call me out down below in the comments. I will do my research if I'm wrong on anything, but I don't sugarcoat anything on my channel. I am completely 100% honest, and what I know right now in my brain is what comes out of my mouth. If I'm wrong, I will admit it, and I will post another video and say, hey, guess what? I suck. I hope that all of these answers have helped you in some way, whether you're making a decision for surgery or against surgery, or if you're trying to decide if you want to be plant-based, vegan, vegetarian, or whatever after having surgery. I've been vegan for almost 2 years. In May, it will be 2 years, and I've coming up on my 1-year surgery. Yes! If you have more questions to ask me, please send me a message, contact me on Instagram or Snapchat if you need to, and get in touch with me. I would love to do another Q&A. This is fun. And I'm going to link her below, but if you guys haven't checked out Taystinytummy on YouTube, totally check her out. She's got lots of awesome videos on recipes, and they're all delicious. I've tried at least 2 of them, and they're so good, guys. They're so good. As always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe.